Hello and welcome. My name is Edna White. I am an author, a life coach, and I also coach businesses to the very best ability. I'm not here to talk about me today. I am here to talk about monetizing your expertise and to turn your knowledge into profit. So I wanted to really talk about this because um, sometimes we have these abilities and these skills and we stay kind of focused into working for people or working for other people, and we really don't get the opportunity to really be involved with working for ourselves. So I kind of gleaned on some experiences that I had and then working with other people on how to monetize your expertise and in order for you to make money. So in order for you to let's say you want to go, you're in a job and you want to leave, but you're not sure how you can monetize it or make it work for you um, as a business. How could you make it like a business and how could you make it work? There are so many areas within a business that I didn't know and I had to learn when I had my own real estate. So I had to really learn that it was just wasn't linear, but it was all these other components that kind of made the business work. So how to actually take everything you know and really culminate it and put it into this nice little package so that you can monetize on it and profit on it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I am ready to get started. So, all those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, if you have a question along the way, please put the question in the chat and I'll be able to, answer you. So, what's our agenda? I already gave you the introduction. Now it's gonna identify your expertise, market research, product service development, creating a personal brand. And sometimes people, on the side note of that, sometimes people think that branding is like just only colors and matching all of that, but it really is really way more than that. Um, building an online presence, monetization strategies, marketing and promotion, customer engagement and retention, scaling your business, and case studies and Q&A. So that's what we got for the agenda, which is pretty robust in itself, but we're going to move through it really quickly. Now, why do we want to monetize what we know? Because it's important, because we want to make a profit. We're in this world to kind of create freedom, and around freedom comes profit, and around profit comes money. So we want to be able to monetize what we do so that we can gain the freedom, because we really it's not about the money, but it's about gaining the freedom, because the money comes when you gain the freedom and you're creating a system. It's all about a system. It's not about what you're doing, but it's more or less about what your system is going to be. And then focusing on that and being very, very, very focused. So let's talk about identifying your expertise. There's a self-assessment that goes along with this to identify and acknowledge your areas that you are really great at, right? I often say to my clients, take your resume and don't take nothing off of it and look through it, what you've accomplished, and you make a list. You completely pull out all the great things about yourself and you make a list. Do a self-assessment of what you are really good at and what knowledge you have in certain areas, right? Pinpoint those. And then pinpoint the unique values you have. What line them all up. So the self-assessment comes from you realizing what I can do and what I can't do. And most of the times you don't want to give in to what you can't do, but there's a reason why you do that in the beginning when you start, even with the idea of it, because those things that you are not real versed in, you kind of delegate them. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, what we start to do is we're going to do everything. We do everything, and we don't give any control or delegate any other things to someone else. And that's a big misconception. For entrepreneurship, just thinking about it, take your resume and just go through it and what you're good at, what you're really good at. And you want to make that list robust, and you want to make sure that, oh, this looks like it could go into this and could be merged together. So when a person is friendly or has great communication skills, those two things can go together, right? Those two things can go together. So as a sales agent, being personable and a great communicator is a definite plus. So if you're thinking of going into sales, you have to have that ability, unless you're going to be in the background and maybe you're doing online things. You don't have to speak to people, if you're in the background. But take an assessment of yourself and identify your skills and your knowledgeable areas, the areas that you're really knowledgeable in. Now, here's a step that everyone seems to forget. When they're coming out the gate with an idea, they never do any market research. So if I was going to open up an ice cream store, commonsensically, I would say, how many ice cream stores are within the one area, like 1 to 5 miles of me? So I would do some market research on that. That's number one. Number two, I would find out, well, what kind of ice cream? So maybe I want to do just ices, right? And the other stores are doing, what is the one that comes out of the machine? The soft ice cream. And maybe somebody else is doing something else. So you all are not doing the same thing. In order to understand your target market, you have to make sure you're doing the market research first. Then you're putting out surveys and tests to see if people say, hey, will you come to my ice cream store if it's located blah, blah, blah? You have to do some market research. So there are questions that you can ask and that are part of market research when you start to kind of develop and make, to create your business or to structure what you want to do and use your skills to make it work, right? So it's important to always understand the market, and then say to yourself, the third question would be, who's my target? So if I'm making these ices, and let's see. Here you go. If they're hard ices, right? If they have a little bit of hard stuff in them or whatever, and you put that in there, do you think your target market is children? No, it's probably adults. So adults from drinking age 21 to whatever. That will be your target market, right? And then you have to thin it down. So I've heard so many of my clients say, well, I service teenagers to 60. No, you really don't. Sometimes you get them, but what is your focus market? If you focus in, right, on who you want to serve and why you want to serve them, you'll be able to be different from everyone else. I had a gentleman that I was working with him as a client to give him a strategy, and he was a personal trainer. So I said to him, what's your specialty? So he says, I train everybody. I said, no, that's not what I said. I said, what's your specialty? Who do you target? So he says, you know what? I really like working with those who have diabetes and obesity. I said, that's perfect. Stay right there. Stay right there. Don't worry about nobody else or nothing else. Stay right there. If you're a personal trainer, focus on those that have diabetes or obesity, focus on that area. And I said, that's how you work. So he says, well, who are my customers? I said, well, your customers are going to be those who do the bariatric surgeries, the doctors that service diabetes. Those are the people that you're going to be able to kind of partner with and talk to. So you want to make sure that you're understanding your target market very well. You want to make sure that you're always thinking about that, and that you're really getting finite. That's it. Just getting so very finite, because no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody doing it just with you. So there's no room to be just like everybody or general. You have to be very focused. And I learned this early on, in both my real estate career. Everybody was buying and selling and renting, and I just said, hey, we're going to do nothing but rentals. And we became the rental people in the area. So you really have to think about your target area, understand your target, and understand who you're going to serve. Who do you want to serve? It can't be a broad spectrum of people. It's got to be so very finite. All right. So what I thought about is, when I started working in real estate, I thought about myself, because Um, I was a single mom at the time, and I needed a home. So I thought, hey, I can service, families, single moms who were working at the same job for a very long time and wanted to buy a house, first time home buyers. And of course, that really worked well at the time. And that was my target area. I had the patience, I used my skills, had patience, I had long suffering with people. So I was able to take their hands and walk them through the whole first time home buyers process. And then I engaged other people who were part of the process, like lawyers and loan officers that had the same, skills as me, who could take the hands of the first time home buyers and take them through the process and be very patient with them. So when you're working, always remember your abilities and what you can do. So if you don't have patience, right? If I didn't have patience, I would never have worked with first time home buyers, because they do have to have handholding, you know. And then sometimes, if I wanted to work with seniors, maybe I didn't have patience, right? It takes patience for seniors. So you really want to use your own abilities. What are you good at? What can you tolerate? Things that what can you tolerate, right? So even in the market research now, what you need to do is, test a lot of things, test things. Ask surveys. Now we have it very good, because we have the internet and social media. So we can ask a poll. People love polls. People love surveys. They don't like them long and drawn out, but I mean, they'll answer 2 or 3 questions, right? And you have an email list. Send an email out to all your friends, family, whomever. Would you come to my ice cream parlor that's on the corner of Smith and Wesson? And would you come there? And probably, you would get so many answers back that they would, right? But you have to ask the pertinent questions. Do you think that this is a great idea long term, right? And your idea has to be long term, sustainable. So I would say an ice cream shop would not be sustainable, because it would only be for summertime, spring, summertime, right? Yes, some of them, they probably could go through the winter for a little while, but not too long. So you want to have an idea, and you want to use your skills long term, sustainably. So when you're thinking of using your skills, make sure that it can go through the process of startup, right? And then in the middle, that it's getting its grapplings, and then you want to be able to transition into what you may call retirement. Am I going to sell this business? Am I going to, how am I going to retire this so it's sustainable without me? How is it going to work without me? Or if I hire somebody else to do what I do, how is it going to be sustainable when I'm not there and I'm on an island somewhere? How is it going to sustain itself? So it all has to work together, just like you would at any other position in the workplace. You got to think about that. Is it going to be long term? So taking your skills, putting together, thinking about all that, putting the surveys out there, it is a lot of work. I will tell you, it's a lot of work. But it's always good to do before you get your feet wet into something, right? It's always great to do is ask the questions to people. Do you think I have patience? Do you think that I can handle this? And you ask people who, you know, that you can trust give you a good answer. And I also said the third one is always analyze the competition and the demand. So is there a demand for hard ices? I don't know. Is there a demand for it? Is it, and then again, look at your competitors. Like, what are they doing? And I know in the world of coaching, as I do, it's always looking at somebody else. It's always comparing yourself to somebody else, or what are they doing? And I found that doing it the way you do, if you set up some systems and you understand that on each side of things, there's ways to have residual income kind of come in, that you're not doing as much work, is working smart, it makes you shine through even more. So if you're taking what you know, right, and you're doing all the steps to kind of figure out, how you can profit from it, what other people need, not what you need, but what other people need. You're going to solve a problem. So my IC may solve a problem for a little while, but it's not sustainable. So when you're using your abilities, or you want to use your abilities, and switch with either from a job or just an idea that you have, you want to be able to say, hey, is this going to be something that's going to be, solve a problem for somebody? Am I solving somebody's problem? Am I adding to something? You want to solve a problem at all times. So you want to make sure that you're doing that market research, all of the questions that I just asked, those three things, and make sure that this can be something that's sustainable, that you can do. Okay? So if it's a product or service, so I'll take my real estate again. My real estate is a product and a service. But as an agent, I was providing a product through my service. So how do you develop that? How do you develop who you are, or your abilities? How do you make that work? So what is it that you're good at? Maybe you're good at writing. Maybe you're good at recording something and creating curriculum. Maybe you're good at, I don't know, maybe supervising something. But what are you good at? And in your expertise alone, what are you good at? So how can you take what's in you that's bottled up or whatever and kind of make it something, right? Create something out of it. I would that I had created something before I started instead while at the end, but I learned, I guess, the backwards way, and I won't do that again. But finding out all these things prior actually creates the arms, and helps you figure out, okay, so I provide this one product. Let's say, okay, let's take a book. I provide a book. Now, out of that book, how many things can I bring out from this one book? Well, one thing I could do is I can do a workshop. The other thing I could do is I can do an audio book. The other thing I could do is I can do an online course. The other thing I can do is I can do a workbook and workbook. And maybe another thing I can do is create groups from it. So there's 5 things I can do. I can take from one product and create other products. Just like you have all these skills, right? All these skills that you have, you can actually put them all together and make a profit from it. You just have to think a little bit more creatively. So again, the book, you write a book, right? You just don't stop there. You make an audio book, right? You just don't stop there. You make a workshop. You just don't stop there. You might even create a retreat from it. You just don't stop there. You create a workshop. You just don't stop there. You keep going until all of the arms and all of your skills are used in that one product, right? That one product. Now, if we take a service, and let's see, we'll take a service like personal training. Let's do that. Personal training. Now, personal training is a service. So what do you do with that service? So you have one mainstream, which is one-to-ones, right? Then you may have another one, which would be groups, right? Groups of, one exercise. Then you have another of creating a book out of that, creating a book. Then you have creating curriculum to do exercises. Then you have creating an app, and then maybe creating a platform for all personal trainers to get on. So you have to create out of what you're able to do. So putting this plan together before you get out there is so important. You have to put it together prior to stepping out there. Because if you step out, then you're going to be in one vein. So what I mean one vein, I mean one mode of production. So it made you just be working with clients, right? When you can be producing product, so you have a game plan and say, okay, so I'm going to work with clients for maybe 6 months to a year, right? One-to-ones. But next year, I'm going to create an online course. Next year, the year after that, I'm going to do 3 workshops in the year. Next year, I'm going to do a personal training retreat. So you're making plans to expand the business so guess what? So it can be sustainable without you. Okay? So you're developing these things prior to getting out there and just going in one area and producing in just one area. You want to have all your hands in everything. So if you've got 5 fingers, there should be 5 things going on in your product or service. 5 things. In the back end, front end, you want to make sure that it has all that. So you want to transform what you do, what your skill is, and your expertise into a viable product or service. And I just gave you 2 great examples for products and services. Okay. The key factors in product development is quality, okay, relevance, and pricing. So when you're creating your product, you want it to have quality. You just don't put it together and then expect to be paid $20 for it if it's a book. You have to put some effort into it. You got to make it work. You got to put something in it. What would you pay for? That's, and then it's got to be something that's relevant. So I'll be writing another book. This is my 32nd book, right? And so I didn't know in the beginning, I was writing for me because I was writing from journals. I was, creating from journals and creating how I felt and things that I felt, right? Afterwards, I realized that people wanted certain things. So in working on my social media, I would pull data from it only to realize people wanted to hear about this, this, and this. So I took note of that, and guess what I did? I wrote 3 books, and that had to do with what they wanted, the call was for, and I gave it to them. So I think the last one I created was authors, how authors can make money on their book, right? How it's start to finish, right? I did that. And then the one before that was called no period, people pleasing, stop people pleasing. It's a book it's a guide to stop you from people pleasing, a 90-day guide. And the sales, I was so shocked the other day that I looked, I was like, oh my. But just getting that research and then writing, right? Not for me only, but for like people, what do they want, actually created profit for me. So you have to be in relevance. What is relevant to people? What do they really want? What is it that they want? You can do 6 things. You can do 6 things in your service, right? So I do a lot of things in my service, but what does everybody want? What do people want? What do they work with me most with? So you have to make sure that it's relevant. You know, it's great to have all those, your accolades and, the titles and all that. It's great to have that. It's great to say that you've got a certificate and all. It's wonderful. But if they're not using it, you're just saying it. If you're not servicing someone, you're just saying it. You want to be able to give that service, and you want to make it relevant. You want to make sure that it's relevant to people. The other thing is pricing. I'm going to tell you something about pricing. I used to think that pricing had to do with what everybody else is paying, is shouting out, was 15,000 for the everybody's shouting, right? But not until I figured it out, because I was flip flopping all over the place for years, and not until I sat down, what is it I want, right? What is it I want, right? And what I did to help myself in my brain figure this out, and here's a good exercise. What I sat down and did, I wrote every bill that I had, every bill, and I calculated, not per month, for the whole year, right? I wrote every bill that I had. Then I wrote down, my other expenses, right? Wrote it down, right? And I put them together. So I divided it, right? I divided it into, I think 12. So I figured out that this is what I had to make. Then I divided that 12 into 4 weeks, and then 4 weeks into, I broke it down all the way to an hour, right? That's what made my brain kind of adjust to the number that I needed. Now, I had to not back down. I had to not lower my price or my standards, but because I knew I was giving great content, I knew I was giving a great service. Sometimes you have to break it down for yourself in your own brain, for you to be able to accept it. Because if you could say 15,000 and it doesn't feel good, you can say it, you can write it down. But if it doesn't feel good here and here, you're just saying it. You want it to match. You want it to feel good. So in order for you to make a profit, right? To make a profit from what you do, you have all the abilities, you have, the skills. You have to get that price there so that you say, okay, it's good. And let me tell you something. If you're doing a great job, people will not blink. People will not blink at, oh yeah, that's fine. That they won't blink, because they know that you have the ability to do it. So it's not even a problem. So you want to make sure that you're pricing, and that's all part of getting with a great coach that can help you do that. That's all in the packaging of what you do, and making sure that you give enough content, and make sure that you have that experience under your belt. All of that together will give you pricing that you feel good with, and that you're not shortchanging yourself. So you want to make sure of that. How am I doing? Okay. So we're going to talk about brand just quickly. Like I said when we first started, brand is not just getting colors for yourself. It's really, what are you famous? What are you good at? Taking your skill, right? And what are you good at? What do you talk about the most? What is your your set of expertise that you talk about on and on and on, that you could talk about without even having a sheet of paper? Not something you have to study, change, or that you can just talk about. That's branding. It's important to have a strong personal brand. It's important to have that because early on in my career, I was flipping. I'm flipping around all over. I teach this. I teach that. I teach this. I teach. I was flipping all over the place until I realized that it had to be strong in one area first. Really, really strong. So think about the three things, and I would just say just three, what your expertise is, right? Think about one color, you know, that you like. If we're talking about branding yourself in colors, think about one color, you know, but also think about the psychology of color. And I think about that a lot because coaching is not easy. And if you have the wrong color, sometimes psychology of it, people don't buy. You know, why do you think people when you go to sales and take the red thing and they slash it, they think they're getting a discount when really they just was already marked up and bought back down, right? So they think they're getting a great deal. You know, when they see those stickers on the at the grocery store, because I saw one yesterday, and I saw his head manager special on it. I was like, let me go see what that is. And then I was like, I didn't really want it. It wasn't what I wanted. So I was like, but we're affected by colors, you know, our eyes, and it's buying power in colors. So make sure that you're getting with somebody who can help you make your brand stand out, you know, taglines, the voice in your brand, you know, who you really are, you know, let it come out in what you're marketing, you know, let it come out. um, and just complete consistency around every platform. But get someone that really, excuse me, understands you, and not that this is what's good. No, let them. They have to understand you, and that it's powerful all in itself. Okay, just knowing that, just it's really powerful to know that they have to know you. Now, this is I do this a lot. I am a life purpose coach. I work with those with mindset across the board. And I also work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I have a lot of entrepreneurs, and I love working with entrepreneurs because I love when they first come up with their idea and we think about something strategic, and we start thinking out of the box creatively, and then we start forming a plan. I help do this so that you can have the clarity and focus. And it's important to have that because in the beginning, when I started my business, it was simpler because I really wanted to sell real estate, and it was just really simple, two things, you know. So nowadays, it's so many things wrapped up into it. You want to be able to have a focus on each one of the steps and have it finite as well. So this is what I do. I give you the clarity that you need, right? And you have a better vision. You have a better vision on your business. This is the results you're going to get. You're going to improve your decision making, and you're going to increase productivity. And the sunglasses are there for the clear strategy goals. So you're going to get that. And when you feel in control, you're going to your confidence is going to be boosted 100%. Okay? You're going to have a better work-life balance because I truly do believe in having that balance, you know, having time to be with your friends, having that time to sit, you know, at the beach, having that time that work is only a couple of hours versus all day, you know, having that time. So I do believe that, you know, it's so very important. Um, Having stronger clients, like you want clients that when you give them if you say, okay, it's $5,000 for 3 months, you want a strong client that said, okay, when do we get together? You know, finding those strong clients and making sure those strong clients are there, asking the right strong questions to to get those clients to say, yeah, okay, and how to talk about that before talking about price. You know, you want to have stronger relationships, and relationships mean just not, I'm not talking about personally, which it can be, but workplace relationships, networking relationships. You want to have those. You want to expand your network. How do I utilize the network of people that I know now? How do I utilize them? That's what I teach, because it's really important, because I can't tell you how many. I don't have a problem with asking for help. I don't have no problem. And I will call somebody up quick. But what I do is this is a really important part. One thing I do tell my clients, every week you should be talking to five new people, and five old people. So I'm talking about networking in your business, for your business. So everybody should be doing that. So you shouldn't be talking to the same people all the time. You should be talking to the five old people you haven't talked to in years, because all of us know at least 3,000 to 4,000 people. We just don't utilize them, right? We like a few. We like few people that we can talk to and hang out with, but we know about 3,000, and we don't utilize them. But every week I talk to five new people. I add them to my repertoire of knowing people. And guess what happens? They tell somebody about me, and they literally connect me to somebody that can help me do something that I want to do, and it expands, and it keeps going and going and going and going. So you want to be able to do that. That's one thing I tell my clients all the time. And then you have effective time management. Effective time management, you want to have that, because that's so important. Because as an entrepreneur, when you start to put this together, this idea you have and who you are into effect, you want to have time management. You don't want to be all over the place, right? You don't want to be, there's not enough time in a day, and you don't want to give up on your business. So you want to have effective time management, right? So what do I offer with all of that? I have 12 45-minute coaching sessions, personalized business strategy plan, interactive workbooks, email support. That's like 3 or 4 days out of a week when we're not meeting. Weekly accountability checks. I do text and say, hey, what's going on? What are we doing today? I make sure that you're on board. You're doing what you have to do. Resource materials. You will never not have some resources, or never not be able to network somewhere. There's always a networking opportunity that you're going to be part of. We're going to find out who your 5 people are that you should be networking with at all times. And then there's progress tracking tools. We're going to be able to track your results. So this is what I do in a regular basis around business, around anyone that needs a mind shift change, around business in general. Because most of the time, the women that I work with, or girls that I work with, they have a desire to have their own business, and you should. And so that's who I work with. All right. Just a little simple reminder. So back to building on the online presence. So I've heard this before. I know people are going to say this to me. I don't like online. That's great. Well, there's a way to get it done, and there's a way to get it done all the time without you doing it. And that's one of the things I teach you. When you come work with me, I teach you can get this service here, here, and here, and this is how you do it. You can build an online presence and have 3 to 4 people working for you. There's a way to do that. The essential components. Now, there's a website, media, blogs. I'm going to tell you, this is what I learned. So I did it backwards, okay? And I have a great website guy now. He's terrific. I did it backwards. I had everybody, I flooded all my social media. Had somebody doing all my social media. Now I'm like an expert in social media. People are paying attention, but my website didn't get attention. So what am I saying that for? Your website should be the hub of everything. It should be the resource center for everything. It should be so simple that somebody goes there and finds everything that you do. And so I have that now, and it's working 100% better, and it's actually having people contact me more so. Like, if you're on TikTok, right, you have to have a store. And if you do like videos or whatever, people are not going to call you, especially with coaching. They're not going to call you and say, hey, I want to get coached by you if they're on TikTok. They're not going to do that. If you have a store, maybe possibly, but it's all about the website. It's all about the website. So make sure you have essential components. Um, what I learned too, every like is not a sale. Remember that. Every like is not a sale. If you have 1 million likes and no sales, it's no good. So a website is always effective because it can create sale for you. Because if they're going to your website, they're looking for something particular. They're looking to ask you a question. They're looking for you to do something for them. If they're on your social media, they're enjoying what you do and what you say, and they're liking it. And then they're going scrolling on all the way up. I see my grandson. I do it. I scroll. We just scroll, right? Blogs are the same way. I see that on Pinterest. I'd rather have 500 subscribers and 500 sales versus 5 million and no sales. That's just what I would like. So you think about that when you are figuring out, your online presence. What do you want to bring to the table in all of those areas? Strategize around that. You know, Figure out what you want from your online presence, and get somebody that can see the vision for you. Because sometimes we don't see the vision. We're feeding off of something that somebody told us or we heard, and all the other junk that we think. But you get someone that knows their business and can say to, no, this is what you should do. I think this is better. And and blends it together and talks you through it and walks you through it again, realizing who you are, and building from your skills, from what they see about you. Okay. And build your digital footprint. So just build it. Just build it. Enhance your digital footprint in everything you do, wherever you are, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, wherever you want to be, whatever um, platform that you're on. Build that digital footprint with who you really are. You know who you really are. I see so many people. I guess I want to say they have like the pretentious shots, and and they don't look like that. When I go to see them on real life, I'm like, are you the person? So you want to make sure that you're building a footprint that's real, that really represents you. you know where you would say, I got a problem. You don't want the wording to say, I'm bothered. You don't want it to say, you want it to say what you really mean. And that's what I really wanted for myself. Is I wanted, if I said folks, I can write folks. If I say peeps, I can write peeps. But make it so that it's you, it's you, what you want to bring out. All of this is what you want to bring out, who you are. Make sure you're using who you are. And all of this information kind of gets you ready for that. Makes you say, this is my message. This is the message I want to bring, and this is how authentic I want to be. Okay, so now we're up to the monetization strategies. There are a lot of, now these are methods. And so when we talk about strategies, right, we're talking about how can we monetize on what you know. So I'll go with me again on my books, right? So let's take each of these is subscriptions, ads, and sponsorships. So how can I make that work? No, yeah, no, okay. You can use the book. Okay, I got it. So when one of the books I wrote, and I think it's this one, I wrote this book here, stuff. Okay, so I had a goal for that. Okay, so I said, I want this book here to be the catalyst for someone to help them um, survive childhood trauma. This is, and I said, now who could I focus on? Who could I focus on? So I didn't focus on people like me, right? Because I didn't think about it. So the three areas I thought about was the library, because I knew that someone like me wouldn't go buy a book. We'd go to the library. So I focused on getting the book into the library. That's what I got. The second thing I said, okay, now I gotta talk to the schools, the colleges, because psychologists work in colleges, right? So I wanted to do a conference in a college, and I wanted my course, my thoughts was to get my course or what I spoke about into the colleges. Okay, so that was my second goal. And the third one was get a sponsorship from an organization that could give my book as a recommendation to everyone who's been through something, right? So I got that done by actually speaking for the organization RAINN, RAINN.org, and they have my book listed as one of their recommended reading. And it's been for years. It's been on there for years, helping people who have gone through trauma. The other thing was I spoke for a trauma university that specialized in trauma that was in Hawaii. One year, I forgot what year, I think it was right after the pandemic. And I spoke for them. And my presentation is part of their CE course. So they turned my course into a CE course, which is bringing me revenue on the back end. So why am I saying this? These are strategies, everything you do. So if your skill is, I don't know, let's see. If your skill, well, one of my skills is writing. I just knew how to write. It just came out. So if my skill is writing, I have to monetize that at all levels. So how could I monetize a book with subscriptions? Easy, right? Easy. You make a website or a platform, a landing page, and you have each one of the books there, and they can subscribe to each one as they come out, and they get special subscription for that. Easy, right? Easy. Sponsorship, I just explained that to you, and ads. So I am just dabbling in ads. I get confused with those ads. I don't like messing with them. So I have somebody else do them for me. So I don't like them. Especially Facebook ads, Google ads, I get totally confused. So that's one of my weaknesses. And I do understand what they have to do, but I don't understand the concept behind it. So I let someone else do that. So you can also monetize it by ads. Now, when I say ads, I mean, I'll give you a simple one. I love Eventbrite now, my new secret. Yay! I love Eventbrite because I go on Eventbrite and I post anything that I'm doing. It gets more traction than Facebook events. And I go in there and I put it on, and I get traction. People sign up. It could be 2 months from now, it signs up. What I like about it, they send them a reminder that I don't have to do anything. It just sends them a reminder, and it sends me one at the same time, right? But in order to get more traction, I only put on $15, and it pushes it out to more people than it would in Facebook, which is tremendous. And most of my workshops and my retreats, I have about maybe up to 14 to 25 people, and it's filled. New trick of the trade. I just learned that. So Eventbrite is the bomb. I'm just telling you right now, it's the best. And I haven't even learned all the bells and whistles on it because there's other bells and whistles to it. And this is on the unpaid site. It's not even the one that's paid for, which is like tremendous. So Just a little hint for you guys. All right. So I know you're going to say this. So what's the pros? What's the pros and cons? There's pros and cons for everything. Let me just tell you. You have to do it strategically. Strategically mean for a certain amount of time. So each time that I worked on my book, it's okay. I'm gonna do this in 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. It had a date to it. That way, you know the pros and cons. So if you know it's okay, people are getting tired of this. They don't want to see it anymore. Maybe you need to pull it, or you need to take it another direction. It's always a strategy. I always say give yourself 6 months to a year, right? 6 months to a year, make this work and put your strategy together. Then you'll know the pros and cons. The cons to not doing it is not knowing anything. Okay? It's just if you're not going to strategize on whatever goal it is and not going to put steps to it, small steps to it, you're not going to know if it works or not. And you have to do the work. You have to do the work, right? So if you have issues about not completing things and procrastination, some procrastination is good, not all, but the procrastination that makes your side hustle for life, forget it. Okay, this is not one of those things. You want to, if you're migrating and you want to turn your side hustle, I don't like the word hustle, but your side business into full time, this is an opportunity to do that. This is getting all of that together to move that way. It's just taking one and replacing with the other. This is the way to do it. Thankfully, I was able to do that because I left where I was, like it was immediate, and I was able to do that and pull things together. But again, that's an office; it's something different. But I still had to put a plan together. Okay, always put a plan together, no matter what it is. You have to choose the right strategy at all times. You make sure you're looking at it differently, different times. So, like I said, 6 months to a year, right? Then you're doing your 5 year, your 2 year, then you're doing your 5 year. But look at it each time. Choose the right strategy, because sometimes you might have to switch. You might have to say, this book is now not doing well over here. I need to do this. So you need to switch it. You always look at your strategies, and I have like a big book that I keep. I have like a binder. It's pretty bad, and I always look at my strategies. So make sure I'm looking at them each time. Is this strategy still working? Is this still working? So you have to do this. Think about doing that. Even if you're doing it on your phone. Time is 7:53. Okay, marketing and promotion. I employ all of you to definitely make sure that you're investing in this marketing and promotion. I paid someone to help me to learn what marketing and promotion was. I paid someone to help me understand that and which way my company was going to go. I believed that it was a great investment. It has completely blessed my life, changed my life, and I'm always learning. So once you learn this marketing and promotion, you will always develop it. It will always be you'll want more of that, learning how to make this work. So whenever you do anything, and again, this is part of what. Okay, I take this book again. Is developing a marketing plan. What was my marketing plan? What is my marketing plan for this? Am I going to market once a week, 2 times a week? Where I'm going to market, who I'm going to market with? Develop a plan. And if you're uncertain, just make sure you take a course or something on marketing and promotion, because they're 2 different things. Make sure you take a course or invest in yourself to know this, so that you know what to do with your business, right? Make sure you know. Don't you can put it in someone's hand to help to do it, but make sure you know, because a great CEO of anything that you learn knows, what's going on within their organization. They will never let it go out of their hands, but they will, okay, what's going on with that? They know what's going on, okay? Digital marketing techniques, SEOs, email marketing, and social media. Let me tell you, this was my weak point, because I just said that every one of us knows 3,000 people. Well, come to my once I took the hired somebody to kind of help me with the marketing and everything, a coach. Um, he told me, he said, "Hey, are you email marketing?" I said, "No, I don't want to be bothered with that." And he's like, "Why?" And when I start doing it, I was like, "Oh, that's why I should be doing it." So, well, email marketing keeps people on top of keeps you on top of people's minds. So don't forget about that. Again, if that's not your strong point, if you're going back to what I said in the beginning, if it's not your strong point, we're going to find a way and how to get someone to do this and help you do this on a regular basis, so it's done all the time. All right. SEO marketing, the same thing. You're going to have somebody to do that for you. Social media, same thing. You're going to have somebody to do that for you, if that's not your strong point. But I'm going to tell you, if you're going to be the CEO of your own business, right, all of those smaller jobs have to be delegated to other people, so that you can get into the business of networking and getting those sponsors, getting in front of the people that make those decisions, so that they can hire you. Okay. Leveraging, and that's here it is, leveraging partnerships and collaborations. I cannot express this. I mean, the second thing I said today, cannot express how important partnerships are and collaborations. Collaborations. I was telling somebody the other day, one of my workshops that I did, that I just facilitated, was a men's men and mental health, and I had 5 men from around the world on my show, and they all were from different backgrounds, everything. And on that one, there was 536 people. Now, I couldn't have did that without those 5 men inviting somebody, cross promoting each other, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. So partnerships, I actually teach you how to partner with people, because we don't know how to partner effectively. You know, we come to the table and say, "Hey, this is what we're going to do," and everybody's going to come to the table with something. It used to be years ago what we call partnerships. Now, the partnerships I'm talking about are the MOUs, that you come to the table. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and this is the result we're going to get. And we sign something. It's binding to us, but not not contractually. It's not, but it makes us accountable. And those are the type of the collaborations and partnerships you want to get into. The accountable ones that are very that move you in whatever I guess area you want to be. So for me, with writing, or I've taken this book to, let's do a workshop together. So I get 5 women who have experience with trauma. Oh, let's do that. Okay, 5 women, and I could take something out of here and say, this is what we're going to talk about, right? Use the book as a an agenda, as it were. And those 5 people cross promote. You always want to get somebody that's coming to the table and they know, hey, we're going to cross promote. So you have people, I have people. You just don't not do it. So you want to have a cohesive partnership and a great collaboration with somebody. You always want to have that. And my best collaborators, I'm going to tell you, were other coaches. And that's why I know that other coaches are not they're not somebody that you can't work with. I work with them all the time. I get a room full of them, and it's great. We cross promote and help each other, but make sure that you're collaborating and leveraging that. Make sure everyone in your field. So your skill or whatever, everything that you want to do you know them? Do you know who they are? Make sure you know. I know who I'm around. I know who's a coach like me in my local area. If you don't know, go to a library and ask them, can you pull up all the businesses for me within 1 mile of my house, or whatever you want to do, or 1 mile of my business, and then you know them. And guess what you do? You go visit them. Hey, I'm here. How you doing? Let's go for coffee. Let's chat on Zoom. Know your people because you're gonna need support. Okay? Know your people. What it does is it makes you the person in the community that loves to collaborate. Okay? It gives you that, okay, this person is good people. Okay, I can collaborate with him or her, right? Then it also helps you cross promote. You may want to do something with them and you both cross promote. Maybe a client that doesn't like them might like you. Guess what? If you don't meet them, right? Don't talk to them, they wouldn't know that you're available. And guess what? That client goes out the window somewhere or goes to somebody else or doesn't even get service. So make sure you know the people that do what you want to do or are doing. Make sure you know them. Don't have to take up all year, but maybe that should be your 5 people that you talk to. Find your people that do what you do in your area and talk to 5 of them. Have a meeting with them. Hey, just want to stop by. Maybe we can talk one day. Here's my card. I want to get to know you. Blah blah. I'm just down the road. Whatever. Make sure you know. Okay. Be a great collaborator. All right. I think I'm on time here. Okay. Customer engagement. We're on slide 12. Customer engagement and retention. Now, it's important to build a relationship and maintain it. I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of times we have a client, we think we're finished with them. Oh, they've gone through all the whole series or the whole program or the whatever it is, the whole months, and we don't stay in touch with them. Whose fault is that? Because they might want to come back. They might want to go to your retreat. They might want to go to something you're having, but because you have not had, contact with them, either through email, right, or on social media and engaging them, whatever, you might not have that opportunity. So customers are very important to keep engaged at all times. And email, I find this pretty good to do. And I like saying, hey, what you doing? How you doing? This is what's happening. I don't like to get all in, all the news, all the long newsletter. I don't like to get all like that, but and it works. And people just email me back, hey, I'm doing good. This is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. You want to chat one day, blah, blah, blah. Great. So it's important to build those relationships because you want them long-term. You want them long-term because they'll probably refer their children, who knows, but you want to make sure it's long-term, right? And then have strategies for engaging with your audience. Have strategies. Make sure that you're inspiring, keep them on tap, engage them, reward them, give giveaways, things like that. But make sure that you're always keeping them engaged with you, that you're still here doing what you do, right? And then learn some techniques on how to retain customers and encourage repeat business. There's always different ways to kind of engage and retain your customers. But I can't tell you, that's my third thing I said I can't tell you. Education around this is primo, right? Educate yourself on how to keep them engaged. And again, if it has to do with social media and that's not your strong point, you're going to teach whomever is going to be working for you to do that very thing. One of my social media pages, I make some of the people who are always engaging my ambassadors. I send them gifts and say, hey, thank you for engaging my page with what you're doing. And I send them gifts. Every 3 months I'll send them something, especially if they're really, really active. I make them my ambassador on my page. And then I actually send them something every 3 months, like a gift, in the mail. Or I'll DM first, but I'll say, hey, I want to give you something for being such a great ambassador. Learn techniques how to retain your customers, and they'll be your customers for a long time. Then they'll become your ambassadors. Learn that. Keep that in mind. Okay, so this is just an overview. You're not going to get ready to scale your business yet, but you should know the signs. The signs it's time to scale. So for me, when it was time to scale was when I was like, which direction do I go? Like I was at a full stop. And a pause is great because that means it's time to do something. Pause doesn't mean failure. Pause means, okay, you need to take a different direction. Now you've been going this way for so long. Now let's go that way. So know the signs, um, of time to scale your business. That means taking it up to the next level, taking it up to, if you're doing 6 figures right now, then take it up to the next levels, 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, whatever it is, right? You want to take it up that level. So know the signs that it's time to move on. If you're stuck at one if you're stuck at 99,000 and you've been pushing the same year every year you're at 99,000, it's time to pivot your business a different way, because then that you can get around and get to that next level, the 6 figures, right? Um, Learn the strategies for scaling, outsourcing, automation, expanding products. Those are things that a good coach is going to teach you about what you're doing within your business. They're going to teach you that. They're going to teach you how to scale it and then outsource things. I love outsourcing because I don't have to do everything. I form contracts with other people, just like an affiliate marketer, and say, hey, I can't do this, but let's commit to do this, and it's a contract. It's literally a contract, and that way I'm not doing everything, and I'm giving my sister or brother some business. Automation. Put everything on automation. The website will do that for you. Put everything on automatic. Everything, payments, everything. Put it all on automatic. You know, and then expanding, like we talked about earlier, your products everywhere. So you got one for 1 year, then expand it out. What else you gonna do for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And then any challenges that you have, your coach is going to teach you how to overcome them. You want to be able to overcome those, especially when it comes to around scaling. When I hired that marketing coach, I knew my issue was marketing and getting out of my own way, right? And I had to pay for that. I had to pay for him to help me scale my business, and it did. So it's not paying; it's investing into your business. Now it's question and answer. I am on time. I love it. So if anyone has any questions, you can put it in the chat box if you're on Facebook or YouTube. If you're on the StreamYard, you can put the question in the box or raise your hand and you can just speak up and ask the question. Now is the time. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. You're welcome, Micheline. Bye now. Okay. If there are no other questions, feel free to send me your questions at Edna, EDNA, White 11 at gmail.com. If you'd like to, I have a question on this, or you'd like to see something else, or just an elaboration on what I talked to you about today. I really appreciate you coming and listening to me, because I think that this is so very imperative to, just especially for startups, and just to be able to be clear on what you want to do. And because you do have the ability to do whatever, you're just bodacious, and you can do anything, but it's a little bit of strategy involved. And if you ever need a coach of any type, especially around business, no, not any type, a coach around mindset and business, I'm the one. So I really want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you, and keep having a great time with your life. Keep creating strategies, and loving what you do. Bye for now.